Hello and welcome everyone to yet another interesting episode of the Environment Primer series by Drishti IAS. My name is Pragya and in today's insightful episode of Environment Primer, we are going to discuss a very crucial topic. The title of our today's discussion is India's Changing Monsoon Pattern. In this discussion, we'll firstly study about the types of monsoon in India. Then we are also going to see the findings of a recent study that has been conducted and which shows the impact of the climate change on Indian monsoon. And lastly, we'll see a practice question for your prelims examination and a practice question for your mains examination. So if I talk about the background of our today's topic, a recent study has been conducted by CEEW, that is Center for Environment, Energy and Water, and this is a think tank in India, and it has showed that yes, climate change is impacting the Indian monsoon. In fact, if you talk about the last decade, Indian monsoon has become more erratic in nature. So this brings us to the important point of our today's discussion, the types of Indian monsoons and what exactly has this study concluded. What are the findings of this study by CEEW? Moving forward, let us firstly discuss the important types of Indian monsoon. So as you all know, there are two important types of Indian monsoon. First is the southwest monsoon, also known as the primary monsoon or the summer monsoon in India. And second is the northeast monsoon. So let us discuss them one by one. So first is the southwest monsoon. As I have mentioned, it occurs from the months of June to September and it hits the Kerala on southwestern coast around June and then proceeds across the country. The southwest monsoon, as I have mentioned, is the primary monsoon affecting India. It affects the agriculture in India, it affects the sowing and cultivation of the kharif crops in India, and it is the major monsoon that brings rainfall in India, and the farmers in India are highly dependent on the southwest monsoon. Moving forward, the monsoon winds are driven by the temperature difference between the Indian Ocean and the landmass of India, and a low pressure zone is created. The warm, moist air over the Indian Ocean is drawn towards the low pressure area created by the intense heating of the Indian subcontinent. This flow of air is known as the monsoon winds, and this is the primary monsoon in India which brings rainfall in India. But if you will observe the southwest monsoon, this has become very erratic in India. Firstly, the onset gets delayed, then the retreat also gets delayed, and hence it impacts the agriculture in India. And if you will observe the findings of this recent study, it shows that there has been 55% increase in the southwest monsoon in India, and due to the impact of climate change, this southwest monsoon is very short-lived and intense. What do we understand by this? Short-lived, that means it is getting delayed. Intense, because it is causing heavy rainfall within some states and some districts, but not causing rainfall in others. Okay. And it is very erratic in nature, and it has become very erratic in nature due to the impact of climate change on the wind direction. Moving forward, India experiences regional variations in the monsoon rainfall. So this is not something very new for India. Yes, we do experience regional variations in the monsoon. The western coast and the northeastern states receive higher rainfall compared to the northwestern and central parts of the country. The western Ghats play a crucial role in enhancing rainfall on the western coasts by acting as a barrier, forcing the moist air to rise and cool, leading to heavy precipitation. But what is happening? If you observe the Indian monsoon, you will realize that yes, it has become short-lived, and definitely it has turned more erratic in nature. Due to this, various other monsoon patterns are being created. For example, flash floods. And due to the delay in the southwest monsoon, we experience a heat wave like condition in June, which is not very frequent. Heat wave conditions in June. If you'll observe the monsoon pattern for previous year, that means in the year 2023, you will see that various erratic events have happened during the monsoon seasons. For example, flash floods, for example, tropical cyclones. As the rainfall is very short-lived and very intense over some areas, so some areas are rain deficit and they are experiencing droughts. They are more, prone to experiencing droughts, and definitely it is impacting agriculture in India. It is impacting the sowing and the cultivation of the kharif crops in India, which are responsible for food security, which are known as the food crops in India. And this is all happening because of the climate change impact on the wind direction. Moving forward, let us analyze another type of monsoon in India, and that is the northeast monsoon. So the northeast monsoon, also known as the winter monsoon or the retreating monsoon, is another significant weather phenomenon that affects India, particularly the northern and the northwestern regions of the country. So this is a very famous question asked in your examination, that which rainfall is responsible for bringing rainfall in the northeastern states. So your answer is the northeast monsoon. Moving forward, the northeast monsoon occurs from late September to early October and continues until March or early April. And it is characterized by the retreat of the southwest monsoon winds and the arrival of dry cold air from the north. And this dry cold air from the north is also responsible for bringing snowfall in the Himalaya region and monsoon in the states such as Tamil Nadu and the northeastern states. During the northeast monsoon, the wind direction reverses from the southwest to the northeast, and we will be understanding this by a help of our pictorial representation in our further slides. Okay, the monsoon winds bring dry, cool air from the continent, often originating from the Serbian region, and that is why these winds are also responsible for heavy snowfall in the Himalaya region. But if you observe the northeast monsoon also, especially this year, how many times have you heard that there was a warning of rainfall by the IMD but no rainfall occurred? In Delhi also, if you talk about our national capital territory of Delhi, there was a prediction of rainfall, but yet we have not received any rainfall. So yes, there is a change in the pattern of the northeast monsoon as well. And definitely all of this is happening because of the phenomenon of climate change. Moving forward, while the southwest monsoon is critical for summer crop cultivation, also known as the kharif crop cultivation, the northeast monsoon is essential for the cultivation of winter crops such as rabi crops, also known as the rabi crops, such as wheat, barley and mustard in the northern India. So what happens is, if the southwest monsoon get delayed, then it will retreat back delayed, and the onset of the northeast monsoon also gets delayed due to the late retreat of the southwest monsoon, and that is why the sowing of the rabi crops is also getting impacted. Adequate soil moisture from the retreating monsoon supports the rabi crops during the winter season. And if there is going to be no northeast monsoon, definitely the soil is not receiving the appropriate moisture, okay, and the soil is becoming dry and hence enhancing the problems in the rabi crop cultivation, hence enhancing the scarcity of the groundwater, okay. The impact of the northeast monsoon varies across regions. Northern and northwestern states such as Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan experience its effects more prominently than the southern and the coastal regions. But all of this is changing, and this has been observed in the study of CEEW. Okay, so now let us discuss a pictorial representation, as I have explained, about the wind directions of the northeast monsoon and the southwest monsoon. So see, the wind direction, they originate here like in the northeastern region, and then they move towards Bay of Bengal. And that is why a very famous question is asked in your preliminary examination, that the northeastern states receive rainfall from southwest monsoon, northeast monsoon, or other monsoon? So your answer is going to be northeast monsoon. In fact, the state of Tamil Nadu as well receives rainfall due to the occurrence of northeast monsoon. So this is a very famous question that is asked in your examinations, because see the wind direction, it is moving towards south from northeast, and the opposite happens in the southwest monsoon. They originate from the coastal region of Kerala and they move towards north part. Okay, and while moving towards north part, they split into two, that is the Arabian Sea branch and the Bay of Bengal branch. Okay, so this is a special characteristic of the southwest monsoon, and this differentiates the southwest monsoon from the northeastern monsoon. Now let us analyze what the study has founded about Indian monsoon, what the study has analyzed about the patterns, the shifting patterns in the Indian monsoon. Okay, so the first finding is rainfall increases in some of the traditionally drier regions and decreases in some of the high monsoon rainfall areas. So what is happening due to the impact of climate change on wind direction? The regions that are considered to be dry during the months of June to September have witnessed increased rainfall. However, some other regions which are situated in the Indo-Gangetic plain have received lower rainfall, such as regions in Bihar and West Bengal. Okay, and the study has found the same, that a notable increase in rainfall in the tehsils of traditionally drier areas like Rajasthan, Gujarat, the Konkan region, central Maharashtra and parts of Tamil Nadu, while the rainfall areas in Bihar and West Bengal this year, or in the previous year as well, this year in the year 2023, have received less than normal rainfall. Moving forward, in the past decade, these regions witnessed a jump of more than 30% in the southwest monsoon rainfall when compared to the baseline of 1981 to the year 2011. And this study has also found an increase of 55% in the southwest monsoon. But this southwest monsoon is becoming more and more erratic. It is becoming more and more short-lived in nature. And that is why, and it is heavily concentrated on some areas, hereby causing flash floods, hereby causing tropical cyclones and the melting of the glaciers as well. So all of this is happening due to the impact of climate change on the wind direction. Okay. Meanwhile, traditionally high monsoon rainfall areas such as Assam and Meghalaya saw a reduction in the rainfall in the last decade. So all of this is happening because of climate change, and that is why I keep on saying that yes, we are already experiencing the worst impacts of climate change, and Indian agriculture is suffering a lot due to the changing pattern of Indian monsoon. Moving forward, the study said that tehsils such as Paschim Nalbari Circle, Boitamari Circle and Barnagar Circle of Assam, among others, received 30% less rainfall compared to the long period average, and regions with heightened rainfall experience more frequent heavy rainfall events. So, heavy rainfall events is directly linked to causing of flash floods or floods in the region. And this highlights the fact that Indian monsoon is becoming more and more erratic in nature. Moving forward, as mentioned before, I have also mentioned that the southwest monsoon rainfall increased in 55% of the India's tehsils. In fact, in those tehsils which are comparatively drier in nature. However, those tehsils which used to receive higher amount of rainfall have not experienced the same amount of rainfall. Now, let us move forward to understand the second finding of this study. So, there are changes in monsoon patterns and they can affect agriculture output and definitely the ecosystems, because the ecosystems are highly dependent on in monsoons, some of the organisms, and the ecosystems and the biodiversity. Natural biodiversity is also becoming more and more fragile in nature. So, the analysis has found that the southwest monsoon rainfall has decreased only in 11% of the tehsils in the past decade, and the worrying observation, however, is that a significant number of these tehsils are located in the Indo-Gangetic Plain, and Indo-Gangetic Plain is very important for Indian agriculture because it has the fertile alluvial soil that is required for the cultivation of the kharif crops. Okay, and Northeast India and the Upper Himalayan region crucial for India's agriculture output. So this is what is happening due to the climate change. India's agriculture is suffering very much. Moving forward, let us analyze the third point which this study has concluded. So rainfall is not distributed evenly throughout the seasons and months. So most of the tehsils with a decreased southwest monsoon rainfall witnessed a decline in rainfall during the initial monsoon months of June and July, which are definitely crucial for sowing of kharif crops. And this is all happening because of the climate change, and this also proves that yes, Indian monsoon is becoming more and more erratic in nature and thereby disrupting completely the Indian agricultural sector, the food hub of India, the food crops of India, on which we are highly dependent for our food security. On the other hand, 48% of tehsils. This study was basically concluded and done on various tehsils present in the various states of India, and that is why it is mentioning again and again that tehsils have witnessed more rainfall and which tehsils have witnessed lesser rainfall. Okay. So on the other hand, 48% of tehsils in India saw an increase in October rainfall by more than 10%, possibly due to the delayed withdrawal of the southwest monsoon from the subcontinent, and that is not good for the cultivation of the rabi crops. So you see, it is impacting both our kharif crops and rabi crops equally. Moving forward, let us analyze the fourth point of conclusion of the study, that the northeast monsoon rainfall has also increased in some regions. So in the past 10 years, the retreating monsoon rainfall spiked by more than 10% in approximately 80% of tehsils in Tamil Nadu, 44% in Telangana and 39% in Andhra Pradesh. Have you also heard the news that Ooty, which is a hill station in TN or Tamil Nadu, is freezing at 0 degrees Celsius. So why do you think all of this is happening? Obviously because of the impacts of climate change. So climate change is doing far more worse damage that we have expected. Okay, and that is why we need accelerated efforts in curbing of climate change. Odisha, West Bengal, Maharashtra and Goa are also seeing an increase in rainfall during this period. That is the period of northeast monsoon, and that is why the study firstly concluded that yes, the regions which were experiencing higher amount of rainfall have decreased, and the regions which were drier in nature are now experiencing rainfall. So what can be the conclusion? What can be the concluding points of the study or the finding of the study? Okay. So the following points can act as a conclusion for our today's discussion. So the first point is places that once recorded excess rainfall are today rainfall deficit. Alarming increase in floods and droughts provide direct evidence of how global warming has been impacting the Indian monsoon. While summer monsoon rainfall each year is unique, there has been a large regional and temporal variability in the rainfall. We have experienced more amount of heat waves. We have experienced more amount of dry patterns throughout the summer, and we have experienced low rainfall. Even if the rainfall occurs, I have explained that it is very short-lived in nature and very excessive on some of the regions, making them even more prone to floods. Then there is also evidence that global warming increases the fluctuations in the monsoon, resulting in both long dry periods and short spells of heavy rains. And definitely this is not good for the agriculture in India, because agriculture in India is heavily dependent upon the rainfall. Then there are other important events as well that are influencing the Indian monsoon, such as El Nino and La Nina events. So apart from the erratic monsoons due to climate change, we have Negative impacts of El Nino as well. This is 2023 was an El Nino year. The La Nina period is also impacting the Indian monsoon. So all of this is causing adverse impact on the Indian monsoon, and we have seen that through data that the study has conducted and given us that yes, Indian monsoon is becoming more and more erratic in nature. So with this, we come to a conclusion of our today's discussion. We have seen the various types of monsoon in India. We have also seen the important findings of the recently conducted study. And now we can see that why humans are to be blamed for this climate change impacts. Okay, because it is the human activity that is increasing the global warming around the earth, and due to that everything is getting impacted. And when I say that yes, climate change is real, climate change is here, I literally mean it, and definitely we need to increase our efforts in mitigating these worst impacts of climate change. In fact, the people who have conducted this study have also suggested that in budget 2024 we need to take into account this erratic nature of the Indian monsoon, and we need to have various schemes to protect the crops, various other mechanisms if the monsoon is acting in this erratic way. And we should also pay more attention, we should allocate more money for having food security in India. Food security in India. So definitely they are trying to say that yes, you need to have more budget allocation to the Indian agriculture because of the erratic Indian monsoon pattern. Now let us see a practice question for your prelims examination. So the question is, for which of the following reasons winter monsoons do not cause rainfall? Your option 1 is little humidity. Your option 2 is due to anticyclonic circulation on land. Your option 3 is influence of easterly jet stream. Select the correct answers from the following quotes. Your option A is only 1. Your option B is only 1 and 2. Your option C is only 2 and 3. And option D is 1, 2 and 3. Kindly drop your answers in the comment box below. Now let us analyze a practice question for your mains examination. So the question is, climate change has made Indian monsoon more erratic in nature. Comment. So firstly, you will write about the two important kinds of monsoon in India, that is the southwest monsoon and the northeast monsoon. And then you will write about the findings of the study. You will write the important points that yes, we have evidences to show that climate change is making Indian monsoon more and more erratic in nature. And you can also conclude very holistically that yes, we need to acknowledge the damage that is being done by climate change. We definitely need to have a plan B if the monsoons do not happen in time, because in India, agriculture is highly dependent on the monsoons. And you will also write the government initiatives in this regard. So you can conclude very holistically. I would also like to take this opportunity to inform you about the 40% discount that we are having on our live GS online foundation course. And this discount is valid from 21st to 25th December. And the payment can be made in 4 easy EMI options. So the first two installments are of rupees 20,000 each, and the third and the fourth installment are of 15,000 each. Okay. So to avail the discount, you can click in the link that is given in the description box. I hope this session is insightful for you. If you liked today's discussion and found it to be helpful, kindly like the channel and subscribe to it for more such interesting updates. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.